but let's do it. Let's bring in Proper. I like to say Brandon Wheat King's great. Our interview with Proper, where we talked about the Wheat Kings a while back, they really got him happy in Brandon, and he joins us today from, is it New Jersey, Proper, that you're living at?
Yes, it's in New Jersey, yes.
All right. Has things changed?
South Jersey.
Has anything changed there since the last time we talked to you in terms of loosening up restrictions and stuff? How's pandemic life there?
Well, it took a long time, the last 5 months being at home, but it's getting better. You can at least to go outside and have some dining outside restaurants now, and you can go to the beach, but you have to be close. Not too close, but other than that, it's pretty good. At the in Philadelphia, like the shore is only an hour away, and that's where I am right now at the shore in CIO City. And but it's just good. I went fishing this morning, but didn't catch anything. That's too bad for me.
Sounds like an amazing part of the world. I got to get out there and see it. But the Flyers, man, I know I've asked you this before, and I will ask you again in a minute how they've done it. They are an exciting team to watch. Proper, how have you been enjoying these Stanley Cup playoffs?
It's been really good. The hockey's been really good. And because they have the teams in Toronto and Edmonton, and so they play 3 days at 3 times, all throughout the day. And so I see lots of hockey now. But the Flyers are doing really well. But, the young goalie, Hart, is wonderful. He's just 22, and he's carrying the team. He's been playing so well, but the young defense have been playing really well too. And Montreal was really good, but they got a shutout, and he's the future of the team.
I'm going to say, I guess it's been pretty methodical, this rebuild of the Flyers. Like Rich Sutter, your old teammate's on with us almost once a week, and he says they're not an overnight success. But I look at them, Brian, guys like Claude Giroux, Gostisbehere, Voracek, some guys that have been there for a while. What are the new parts? Or have those guys just matured? Like, where did this come from? It just seemed to me that Philly was bad for a long time. All of a sudden, boom, they're the number 1 seed in the East. What happened in between?
I think it's all about the coaching. Look at their new coaches that they had this last year. They had 3 experienced coaches, which makes a big difference. And then they kind of split up the team a little better. They manage it a little bit better. Before it was Giroux and Voracek, playing an hour and a minute and 30 every power play, and then that doesn't work. You have to get somebody else to give it a try. But the young players are really good, and the young defense are really, really fast and steady. So they have a chance to win every game. And there weren't many shots like yesterday for Montreal or Philadelphia, but they had 6 power play chances, and they have to get much better, like on their power play for Philadelphia. Their older guys haven't scored too much, and that can happen. They have to be much better, like especially the guy like Giroux, who's been here 12 years, and so he has to score a little bit more in the playoffs to give the Flyers a chance.
Did you think going into this season that the Flyers could be legit Stanley Cup champions? Because they clearly are. But was that the expectation going into the year?
It was ever since they got the new coach, and I was been the ambassador the last 4 years, every home game. So I know what was going on, and I could see how good they played. They were really inconsistent the last 3 years, and so they win 10 and lose 10. And this has been much better now with the new coaching and the young players. And even there's a couple of guys that haven't even played yet. They're waiting to get better. And so it could make a difference too.
You mentioned going fishing this morning, Phillies, or you're an hour from the shore. How about this? Because I'm enjoying hockey all day. My wife probably thinks I'm enjoying it too much, but basically 10 a.m. until midnight every day, Proper. You can imagine how that's going over in Canada. How's it going over in your area? Like, are people watching it, or is it just the Flyers? How do you feel about it?
No, everybody's watching it now because what are you supposed to do the first 5 months of the Boris? So like now there's sports is back and hockey's back and baseball is playing, and so they want to do something, but the hockey's been really good because they're waiting for it, and so as it's been going, it's been really nice just to watch hockey, and like in the playoffs are special. Because you never know what's going to happen. Like, this last year they had 24 teams, and then a few of them got knocked out right away, like Pittsburgh, and so you didn't expect that. And but Montreal's doing really well, and it's a battle in the playoffs.
Well, I tell you what, last one before I ask you about Guffaw Cigars. I've been looking at these stats, and they're talking about best of 5 series. And the last time it happened in the NHL was, I think, '86. Right in your wheelhouse. So when you are watching these playoff series and the grind, how much have you been hearkening back to the 80s in the NHL? Just a golden time when some of the playoff runs. Have you been thinking about those times?
Oh, yeah, well, because when I first started in '79, we went to the Stanley Cup Finals in my first year, and we had 35 undefeated streak. And but that time, the teams played longer with the teams. So, like, I was there for like 10 or 11 years with all the main guys because we didn't have the money at that time. We didn't know what we were making. But it was really special for me, especially in the '80s, because the Flyers, they had a good mixture. Like Bob Clark was there for 5 years, and then Tim Kerr and Dave Poulin and Mark Howe and Brad McCrimmon were there. And then we switched to Tocchet and Mellanby and Zezel, and so we had good leaders, and then we had a nice balance of players. But it just takes a long time to win. I was in 5 Stanley Cup Finals. Unfortunately, Edmonton and the Islanders won most of them, but that's the way it was. But I was proud to be there.
I tell you what, I did an event in February with Bernie Perrant. Speaking of '70s Flyers, what a character! And I can see why he's in the Hockey Hall of Fame. Statistically, he is. But what an absolute legend that guy is. And I'm sure you bump into him regularly, Proper. Hey, I got to ask you about Guffaw Cigars. We didn't get into that the last time you were on. I'm a little fascinated by this. How did you get into this company, and how can people order them or get their hands on them?
Yeah, so like I went to the Dominican Republic a couple years ago with my son. We toured a factory, and so like I've always been a smoker of cigars, like especially on golf, and so like I wanted to create my own blend, and so I worked with the Vivente Cigars. I'm doing the licensing agreement with them, so I don't have to worry about manufacturing the cigars. But everything's all online from the Dominican Republic, and go to my GuffawCigars.com. People can order there, and they'll show up in a couple of weeks. And so I'm doing 425 for my 425 regular season goals, and but boxes of 10, numbered, limited edition, and a special prize in them. But I wanted to make sure that they were quality. I didn't want something cheap. And so, I'm working on doing some other boxes after, like boxes of 25 for a little cheaper. But hopefully people will enjoy them and then have a report for that.
GuffawCigars.com. You can follow them also on Instagram and Twitter. And by the way, from a viewer, Nick McConnell, he says, Brian was my first favorite NHL player. I have your rookie card. Say hi to Greg. He used to live and play senior hockey for Lumsden. Is that your brother or something?
Oh yeah, my brother Greg lived there too. So like, and we played hockey a couple times with him in the summer, and but it's good to know that my dad was a Lutheran minister, and he worked in Regina for 18 years, and then he moved to Saskatoon. So I know a lot of people in that area, and I still get back to Saskatchewan a couple times a year with my family. I've got 2 brothers and 2 sisters. We're all 13 months apart. Most of them are in Saskatoon. And I've been fishing every summer with my brothers and sisters in Jan Lake, too. So it keeps me busy.
Darren Bradley writes in, he says, does Brian still have some Cooperalls? You and the Whalers made him famous in the 80s. Do you have an old pair of those black Cooperalls you guys kicking around somewhere?
No, they I never got a Flyer jersey from the team either, because they sold the jerseys and the Cooperies all the time for collectors. So I never got a Flyer jersey or a Cooperas, and so if they see them, I used to love them because when we were playing with Hartford for a couple of years. It was good. They were light. It made me a little faster, and but I did really like them. But then the goalies started to complain because they didn't want to see the puck too much, and so that's where it goes from there.
Yeah, ridiculous. Well, I'm old enough to say I wore them. They were extremely comfortable, too. I don't know why they got rid of them, because of goalie complaints, huh? Well, Propp, I never got to meet you until we started doing this. I've always been a longtime fan, so I appreciate it every time we get to visit. So I would say stay well, go Flyers, and hopefully we can chat here as the playoffs go along.
Yeah, thank you very much. Have a good day.
Philadelphia Flyers great Brian Propp joining us in Dupes. Just before we go to break, do you not just see him on the golf course smoking a cigar? That is the NHL. Just class.
Yes.
Like, good looking. You know what I mean? Just so respectful.
You're watching Rod Pedersen On Demand. For more of The Rod Pedersen Show, visit rodpedersen.com or follow Rod Pedersen on social media.